One of those. How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? How you want me to see straight out the far? How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? How you want me to see straight out the far? Girl, I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you pay? Don't you know I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you pay? Don't you give me a fork? We throw back for the fork. I need a fork. Okay, what's the job for the fork? Give me a fork. Bend over for the fork. I need a fork. Oh, she think I'm done, think I'm jumping, invite me over for a meal. And me sitting at your two-legged table, y'all tell me what's the deal. Say, I can eat whatever I want, but you ain't giving me a fuck. So she doesn't need to act, but eat with him. He always does eat with him out. Oh Lord, I don't have me life and I'm ready to choke and to eat it. I'm ready to choke, oh Lord, man, I'm ready to bite and I'm ready to eat it to pieces. So what the hell is this for? How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? I don't know how you want me to see straight out the far. How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? I don't know how you want me to see straight out the far. Girl, I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you don't you know I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you don't you give me a fork. We throw back for the fork. I need a fork. What's the job for the fork? Give me a fork. Bend over for the fork. I need a fork. Girl, every time me and you all alone, you always promise a fork. I wanna try to come to rush me, tell me you have to go to work. Yeah, why you doing this? Why you doing that? Please excuse me, miss. All I need is a fork. Oh Lord, I don't have my knife and I'm ready to choke and to eat it. I'm ready to choke. Oh Lord, man, I'm ready to bite and I'm ready to eat it to pieces. Yeah. So what the hell is this for? How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? How you want me to see straight out the far? How the hell you expect me to see straight out the far? How you want me to see straight out the far? Girl, I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you pay? Don't you know I ain't eating unless I get the fork. Unless I get the fork. Don't you pay? Don't you give me a fork? We throw back for the fork. I need a fork. Push it down to the fork. Give me a fork. Bend over for the fork. I need a fork. Yeah. So what the hell is this for?
Now, back to the hottest talk show on the net with your host, Russ Sills.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the hottest talk show on the net. Boy, Russ Sills, right here again, each and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we have a great show in store for y'all tonight. We have the Virgin Islands' very own Chef John Greenaway. He's in the building, man. This is a long anticipated virtual interview with John. So listen, man, I need everybody from St. Thomas, even if you're from St. John, St. Croix, share this live. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna take y'all back all the way back when John Greenaway started, and how he's became a chef and what he's doing now. But before he became a chef, we're gonna talk to John about what he used to do back in the days. All right. So make sure y'all tell a friend. Each and every Friday night we're here. It's your boy Russ Sills right here at the JMO Talk Show. We're back. All right. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. I see y'all, man. I can give y'all a shout a little later on. But shout out to Ruth. Ruth Palmer, thank you for tuning in. Dana for tuning in. Cora Thomas, thank you for tuning in. Tony T, all the way from Japan, thank you for tuning in. The chef, Julius Jackson, thank you for tuning in. Mr. James Bachelta, thank you for tuning in. Mr. Joseph Bachelta, thank you for tuning in. Kiba Letsum, thank you for tuning in. Elizabeth, thank you for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. I'm going to give you all a shout, man. Make sure y'all share the live. So good evening, John.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Not much. Hustling. That's what we all are doing, hustling.
Well, let me tell you, man, first thing first, I want to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule, man. I know you are busy, very busy, man, in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. You're one of the business owners that are successful in St. Thomas. So we want to thank you for taking time out on your Friday night. You could have been probably Netflix and chilling right about now.
No, ain't no Netflix and chilling. I would be working. I'll be working at Wings Gone Wild right now. That's what I would be.
Wings Gone Wild. You see what I'm talking about? This man don't sleep, man. But thank you again for taking the time out for coming on the JMO Talk Show, man. So what's going on, man?
Not much. Just trying to push forward, trying to stay focused. Just living by the general rule, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes,
feed
doubt.
people the food you want to be fed. It's a simple rule.
No doubt, no doubt. But before we get started into the whole restaurateur, entrepreneurship, Chef John, we're gonna take y'all back for a minute, man, where this man started. I mean, we was talking before we got on the show, and John was like, he was scratching his head like, yo, you go way back. Me and John actually, if you've been growing up back in the 90s, John was actually a teen host. He was a host of a teen talk show in the Virgin Islands called Graffiti Street. John actually was the man, and myself was one of the teenager students that was on the show as well. I was actually one of the panels, but actually it was John and Kathy, right? It was Kathy?
Yeah. That was my co-host.
Yes.
And we were the first host.
Yes.
Of Graffiti Street.
Graffiti Street, yeah.
The pilot, the beginning, from the inception, we were,
Yes. So that's how long I know John. We go way back. And he had to scratch his head like, yo, you go way back? I'm like, yeah, I remember. Like we was handpicked. Certain students from the different school was handpicked. And we used to go down to WTJX right there in Barber Plaza. Right. Barber Plaza, yeah. We used to shoot it after school. It used to be nice, man. I mean, that's when you kind of interact with students from private school. You had public school, both public schools, high school, which was it Idorican? I think it was in 9th grade. So we had high school, Idorican. Then we had the private school students. So it was pretty cool.
You know, much people gonna give you flack for saying high school.
Well, hey, shout out to Mali. Shout out to Mali High School. Yeah, shout out to Mali.
I just try to keep it safe, bro. I don't want to come in after you after the show.
So tell us a little bit about that, man. How did you get started with that? I mean, I can't remember, but kind of yeah.
I have to give credit to somebody that's been pivotal in my career and launching. I mean, he was the one that created the show. Ali Petros.
Yeah.
He was the creator of the show.
Yep, sure is.
And he did a lot of, positive tree. He had a lot of positive programs going on back then. And Graffiti Street was his brainchild. And, he brought it to WTJX and, the powers that be, they put it together. And they did a audition for the hosts. And I found out that same day, so I was actually late. And that was the last set of auditions. And I went down there and I just was myself. And the rest is history. It was like, John, you're exactly what we've been looking for. And I'm like, okay. And from then, Ali Petros, Beverly Petros, his wife, that's like family to me. So from then, and to show you how great, and I don't want to say it was, because it is, the show is still around, to show you how great and how far we reached in that first season in the pilot, we got an award for best teen television talk show.
Wow. See, I didn't know
in
that.
the BET Awards. We beat out
Teen Summit, actually, yeah.
and other big ticket, big funding,
Wow.
talk shows from in the mainland and all over the world. So where, we might be simple, sitting on a little airbrush background and some milk crates.
Yeah,
the
sure.
milk crates people are,
Yeah.
doing the child challenges on now, but
Yeah,
that's what we sat on.
yeah, and milk crate, yeah. Okay. Yep, sure is,
And we tackle a
is.
lot of the tough topics, abuse, drugs, teen, sexuality, all the things that were very prevalent in our, and was important to us and the adults at that time. We tackled it. We had parents on the show. We had other entrepreneurs and business people on the show. We went to other islands, St. Croix, St. John. We went to different farms. We had beaches. I mean, it was a blast. It was an experience like no other. And I have to thank, Ali Petrus and the whole Petrus family and WTJX, PBS,
John, let me remember, it had one episode we did. It was date rape. We did a show on date rape.
Yeah.
And man, I remember Ali Petrus used to tell us, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go try to just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Talk raw, be yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted it to be raw and everything. And man, I remember that episode, man, we were cutting up. We were cutting up.
But you were being honest though, because
yeah, we're being honest. I remember Ali Petrus called us and he said, he said, we got to do that show over again, man. Because, I mean, we was cutting up. Like, we were talking stuff like, man. I remember I said something like, man, if she won't give me none, she gonna walk home or something like that. she gonna walk home or something like that. I'm like, oh, man. So I remember, man, Ali Petrus, he was the director. He was just like behind the camera, like, nah. So he told us, he said, hey man, we got to do that show over again. We want to be positive and so forth. Mm-hmm. So the next time we came around, I was like, no means no. So like everybody was like, what?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened, Russ? No means no. So went back to school, John. Everybody in the hallway, no means no. No.
Wow, they were letting you have
everybody was like no means no. I guess that was the sign that they listened to the show that night, But
Great.
We used to have some good times, man, John. We used to have some good times. And believe it or not, when you was doing Graffiti Street, I always saw you to be like the next like Donnie Simpson or something. Back in the days with Donnie Simpson on video. So yeah, like you speak well. You was like a natural on that camera. I remember like John, you was like natural, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's from the outside looking in, because usually you can't see yourself.
Yeah.
But I gotta give credit to the public school system and my parents and Miss Greenaway. Miss Greenaway didn't play.
Listen.
Love her.
Listen.
Yeah.
That was my
you ain't going
teacher.
out on the road anyway. You ain't speaking a certain way in public. There's a time and place for everything.
Man.
Put things back where you get it from. That's the kind of mother I had, yeah.
Let me tell you something, Miss Greenaway, may she rest in peace. I would never forget that lady, my 4th grade teacher, man. Miss Greenaway, she never used to play. She's some crackers, boy. I love some crackers and cheese. She used to eat some crackers and cheese, man. But she was stern. That lady was stern, and we learned. Our class was right there by Methodist Church, right there by Tutu School.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Miss Greenaway, man, I will never forget that lady. My 4th grade teacher.
I gotta give a shout out to her and all the teachers that had a part. And I shouldn't just say the teachers, entire faculty and staff.
Public school.
I was up in a mango tree when I wasn't supposed to be, and Miss Hodge, one of the custodians, said, Greenaway, that's you? get you know what, out the mango tree, and you know I get down as quick as possible. So I couldn't do no wrong, just being in a mango tree when I shouldn't have been there. But even today, Jeanette Reimer came in and bought a plate of food. I saw Miss Neal, I saw
Miss Neal,
Miss Dawson,
Miss
Nicole's
Dawson.
mother.
Yes, 6th grade teacher, Miss Dawson.
I mean,
wow.
They all,
yes.
I mean, I could go on and on about the teachers, but they made a huge impact on me.
No doubt, man. But I always saw you like, John, like, man, like this man could be our next politician. You know what I'm saying? You speak very well. You know how you used to be in front of the camera. We talking and we sitting down. We were just a panel, but we sitting down behind you and you were just like in a camera just speaking well, man, at a young age. At a young age, man. We was like what? We was like what? 15, 14, 16?
Because I graduated
14,
at
15,
16, so I was like 14, 15.
Okay, so I probably was 40. I was a year younger than you. So probably, but we had a good time, man. Graffiti Street. Shout out to Ali Petros, man, for doing a tremendous job, man. Tremendous job.
I've saved everything from the show, the booklets, T-shirts, all the memorabilia. I have it tucked away in a little bin, you know, since the hurricane, you know, a lot of things got destroyed, but those things are, you know, great memories for me, you know?
No doubt. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Virgin Islands' very own Chef John Greenaway, the owner, founder, restaurateur of Island Flavor Restaurant. That's his brand, Island Flavor, that is behind of him. John started his business. So let's get into what made you transition from being a teen star host, transitioning into being a chef. Did somebody in your family or somebody inspire you to say, well, look, I love to cook, I want to be a chef? What made you transition from that?
I think it's a few things. I've always been an artist. Back in elementary, you know, I drawing little cartoons, you're drawing He-Man, you're drawing Battle Cat and, you know, Skeletor, all like I was always an artist, you know, so it basically started with my mother again. Many of her sisters, my aunts, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother going back many generations were all cook/chefs, you know, whatever name or title you want to put to it. But when it comes on to preparing food, feeding the masses, it's something that my family, going back many generations, has done. So I guess it didn't skip me. I guess it really got me good because I just remember my mother having a spice rack and me being always interested in what all these spices did and herbs. And she was a baker. She baked a lot. And since I was an artist, she would bake the cakes and she'd say, hey, John, come decorate this. So it was interesting and intriguing for me to decorate the cakes because it was like a blank canvas for me and I could, you know, decorate and use my artistic skills. And then that mushroomed into, ended up being in hotel training with Mr. Isidro Wesselhoff. And that is somebody that was pivotal in my growth during my high school years. I'm so thankful to Mr. Isidro Wesselhoff, hotel training, Charlotte Amalie High School. He would bake cheesecakes. The same way you could order a pizza from any of these franchises. He said he would bake 30, 40 cheesecakes. And I watched him and I got into that, doing that and trying to make a little money on the side. And I ended up baking a batch of 30 and did a little order form where, you know, you say, okay, cheesecake plain or strawberry or kiwi, or you want, apricot glaze, and you pick all your toppings. And that went awesome because these are big cheesecakes. You know, I was making, a little bit of money, which is always a good feeling. You're in high school, you feel you're making your own money. And I was always around food. From junior high school, I was working at Fruit Bowl. In Wheatley Center.
Wheatley Center, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is, you go out and party Saturday night, and then you have to be at a fruit bowl at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning because a 40-foot trailer coming in, and you have to unload also. I was around food and produce and, you know, things like that all the time. So like I said again, Mr. Wesselhoff, I can't thank him enough. I mean, I did my first wedding cake in high school.
Wow.
5 cakes, 3 stories tall, 2 staircases, a 3-tier waterfall, and this is all Mr. West helping me doing this. So fruit carvings, things that were way above what the typical high schooler was doing at that time. And that was because of Mr. West and him seeing my talent and my potential and believing in me and just giving me the ball and letting me run with it, but still encouraging me and, you know, putting me in the right place with the right people, still being stern, firm, but fair. And from there, it took off.
So did you went to UVI or you went to college in the mainland?
Johnson & Wales University had a seminar at Windward Passage Hotel. I remember this like it's yesterday. Because of Mr. West, he hooked me up with that. My father, Clayton Greenaway Sr., took me to it. Back then, my father, he was another entrepreneur. He had Greenaway Construction, Greenaway Masonry, Greenaway Plumbing. He owned the Islander Services, which was on the off of Main Street with Isle of Vina and Greenhouse. That was the Western Union there.
Yes.
So he took me, and it was a no-brainer for me. Once I saw what they were saying, what it was about, the opportunity, believe it or not, I was very cognizant of cost back then because I'm like, wow, it costs this much per year to go to school. How can we ever afford that? You know, but my father said, hey, this, if you're sure and this is what you want to do, he gonna support me. And both of my parents supported me. And I had family, I have tons of family in Boston, Massachusetts, and that's very close to Rhode Island. So I had a support system there. And before you knew it, 16 years old in college, freshman year.
Wow.
From going from 96 degrees in the shade to, serious winters because school begins in the fall.
I know, plenty crying days. I want to go home. I want to come home.
Everything.
My son, hey, I could tell you, I can remember my first winter in the States, man. I was more excited seeing snow for the first time than it being cold. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was like, I forget how cold it was. I'm seeing snow for the first time. I couldn't believe it. I was like shell shocked, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so you went to Johnson & Wales, graduated from Johnson & Wales. So take us from that transition from graduating from Johnson & Wales College to, okay, what's next? Am I moving back home to work or you decided to stay in the mainland and kind of build your skills, your skill set? What happened after that Johnson & Wales graduation?
I don't think I could go straight to after. I have to go to what happened during it because, you know, when your parents say, I send you to school to study and keep your head in the books, but your head was someplace else. I was trying to have my
everybody went through that. Everybody went through that. Everybody went through that.
After my freshman year, I ended up having a son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Without 18, 17, details, 18?
His mother,
17,
his mother wasn't ready. Yeah. She wasn't ready to be a parent. Neither was I. But she decided, she said she was going to have an abortion. I didn't believe in it, but, you know, it's her body. I can't tell her what to do. And next thing you know, she still kept the child. She wasn't in Rhode Island, but I get a phone call and a mail packet saying about adoption. And I was like, what are you talking about? My first youth? Yeah. Hell no. Yeah. So I picked up what I had to do. I flew to that state, signed the papers. I got my son. He was 5 days old. And I came back to college and tried to sit down and figure out what to do.
What?
Yeah. I went to classes with him.
What?
I found a babysitter when I went to class. Then when I got out of class, I found another babysitter. Most of them were from the Virgin Islands, people I knew and trusted that would help me out. You know, my niece was also there also. And the second babysitter dropped him off there, go to work. I worked work studies to pay for school. I worked Pizza Hut and I worked at the Marriott. 3 jobs, going to school full time, raising my son full time with the help of family and friends. Yeah, so he was a major part of the decision making and the direction of my life. After a while, my mother said, John, if your grades are dropping, if you drop out of school, you're no use to yourself or your son. So, you know, I suggested, Mommy, I'm not going to be like everybody else having children and giving them to their grandparents to raise. I'm not doing that. She says, I wasn't asking you. She said, I wasn't asking you nothing. Yeah. Next thing you know, my mother's on a flight to Rhode Island, and she took him while I finished up, and a lot of the teachers and at Gomez School saw him there with her, and you know, he got to grow up and know everybody while she allowed me to finish with both of my degrees, because my degrees, I have a double degree from Johnson & Wales in culinary arts and food service entrepreneurship. So did that, graduated in 97, got recruited right out of college. I got recruited by a few companies, Cheesecake Factory and a few others, but I chose to go with Houston's Restaurant.
Okay. We have Houston here. Yeah. In Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They basically gave me a management position right out of school and paid for the entire move. And which was basically a rider truck, a little bit of, money. And,
right.
I got to Florida, but really didn't have any place to stay. So I was technically homeless for a little bit because I was sleeping in the truck. I laid down my mattress in the back of the truck and, till I could find something for myself, find an apartment, this and that. But I did what I had to do to make it happen.
Right, right.
And I'm not glamorizing homelessness or saying anything about it. All I'm saying was I had no place to rest my head, and I slept in the truck.
And people might say like, dang, well, you could have done the easiest way, John, and just, go back home. That's the first thing that people would tell you, like from the Caribbean, come back home. Why would you do that? Come back home. And I can understand what you've been through, because I had a kind of similar situation to where I was between a heart and a stone, rock and a stone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have just come back home, in my situation, go back home and just figure it out. But I stuck it out. I actually was living in Maryland, got in some situation, and I was getting ready to move back home. And my cousin in Virginia was like, if you don't want to go back home, you can come by me. And she was like, you could come by me if you don't want to go back home. I was this close, like meaning basically the ticket was already bought. It was just for the day to come. Mm-hmm. But I just wasn't 100% of moving back home, and I moved to Virginia. And I think that was one of the best decisions I made. You know what I'm saying? At a young age. You know what I'm saying? I know I could have go back home and, matter of fact, I applied. It was so funny. I applied to Weston. Weston was just opening up in St. John. Wow. And a whole bunch of us went up there and applied, and they actually had called me while I was in the States. So it's like I was going back home with the intention that, okay, I could probably holler at Weston. They're going to give me the job because they called me, you know what I'm saying? But I was in the States. And I just wasn't ready. And I moved to Virginia. And I stayed there for 5 years.
Wow.
5 years.
See how that works?
Yeah, it's 5 years. Yeah.
It's amazing how different things that might be looked at as obstacles or setbacks actually are, I don't know if this is the right word, but they're like roadblocks, but it's roadblocks to make sure you go down a different road or a different path, which might be the best for you.
Right. And sometimes those are like tough decisions that make you stronger in life. You know what I'm saying? Don't take the easiest way out. My mom always showed me the hard way. So maybe that mentality, like, man, I don't want to give up. I don't want to fail. You know what I'm saying? Let me make the best of it. know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I had another opportunity. I moved to Virginia. Like, no disrespect to millennials, but 9 out of 10, somebody hitting hard times right now, and they hear come back home, we're just staying in, sleeping in a van or sleeping in a trailer for come back home. They're gonna come back home with you know what I'm saying, with a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
But you know, I think our generation, John, which I don't, what do they call our generation? I
They
don't
could
know.
label whatever they want to label it, but I
Yeah,
know
but our generation to me was more like, yeah, we different. I think we was more stronger. And no disrespect to the OGs and the millenniums or people who came after us, but I'm just saying our timeline, our time, you know, the early 90s, late 80s, you know what I'm saying? It was all about work hard, like hard. You always hear that thing, work for what you really want.
Put it this way. Everybody ride bikes. We didn't have no helmet. We didn't have no knee pads. You get scrape up from the chain and the sprockets and everything else. And you get up and you line up on Cassie Hill and you try and coast down and beat the next man again after you just probably broke your hand. So
yeah,
we just different.
Yeah, sure enough, man. We from a different breed.
From Pompano Beach was my first location for Houston's restaurants. Then
that's in Florida.
That's in Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida. Excuse me. Okay. Then they shipped me off to Georgia, where I was running the Lenox Mall location.
Yeah, they're still there. I think they're still there.
I was living right on Sidney Marcus Boulevard on Peachtree. Right above with the Home Depot there on the hill, close to I-4 perimeter.
You're in the bougie area.
Yeah, exactly. But it was close enough where I didn't have to get onto the highway because I know back then that traffic in Atlanta was horrendous.
It's worse still. It's still the worst.
Exactly. So I knew that. I told them I had to live where I don't have to get on the highway to go to work. So I could always take the side streets. I don't want to get on the highway. I've seen it and I don't want no part of that. Y'all could keep that, bro.
Yeah.
So from there, they moved me to run another store that was West Paces Ferry.
Okay.
From there, I moved back to Florida where they opened up a new concept in Palm Beach called Palm Beach Grill. It was right down next to the Breakers on the island of Palm Beach. Okay. And I did that. I ran other restaurants after that, Blue Martini. They have them, I think, in Orlando. There's Palm Beach, there's Fort Lauderdale, Island Dogs, they have in Key West. So I was a corporate chef for Blue Martini for a while. Cayenne Grill, Cabo, West Palm Beach was kind of my stomping grounds. I bought a home there, my first townhouse. Then I bought a second home in Port St. Lucie, a single family home. So that was kind of where everything was, you know, my son with me. And then when the housing market crashed, you know, you buy a house for $2 and change, and then they tell you your house is only worth 60,000. You have to make some decisions.
Yeah, make the decision. Yeah.
Because you don't.
I remember it very well.
Upside down, you know. Yeah. So, you know, different things happen in the world and in the market that you have to make decisions as an individual and as a parent. And as a parent, your decisions are usually made based on what's best for your kids, and not what's best for you. Well, at least that's how I went about it.
Right.
So I asked my sister, Rosetta Greenaway, hey, listen, I'm moving back home. Can you take my son, Ascari? Well, his name is John Greenaway, but his middle name is Ascari. And Ascari means soldier in Swahili, because that was my little soldier. So she said, yeah, he came back home for a little bit. And he started at Peace Corps School in elementary. Okay. And then I did what I had to do. Once again, Beverly Petrus, they were opening up a IHOP restaurant. And in order to complete the approval from the franchisee to get the restaurant, you have to go through some training and on-site training where you actually work at one of their stores, approved stores for a while before you even pass any of the tests. So myself and Beverly did that. And we got approved, we got certified from IHOP corporate, and we were able to open up the first IHOP in the Virgin Islands in Tutubuck Mall.
Right. I actually ate ate there one time before it closed down. And I was excited. I was like, I can't believe IHOP in St. Thomas.
Yeah.
IHOP in St. Thomas. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I could remember my first and only time eating at IHOP. So that was a awesome experience. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to again for Ali Petros them for you know what I'm saying, paving the way again at at adult. You know what I'm saying? It was at a teenager, now at a young man in early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah, early 20s. He's been asking me many times prior to that, John, you ready to come home? John, you ready to come home? Because he was growing his Subway brand and I was still doing my thing.
Right.
But it just so happened that the housing market crashed. You have to make a decision about keeping your house or giving it up. And it's like, sometimes you got to press the restart button, you know, no shame in that.
Yeah.
But so that reset button is what has me, you know, where I'm at now, and be able to come home and, you know, open up an IHOP. And what's amazing to me, and I want to give kudos to our cuisine, IHOP corporate got upset that a special that I ran, which was saltfish, banana fritters, spinach and okra or chop chop, our local breakfast was outselling their top seller, which is their buttermilk pancake combo.
Pancakes. Wow.
So corporate wise, that's a no-no.
Mm.
You're not gonna be a franchisee and have a little local cuisine and it outselling our main best-selling item.
Wow. So how did it find out? I mean,
they get the sales mix. They could see everything. They could see how many pancakes, how many waffles, how many sausages. It's a corporate situation. So when you're in a corporate situation, they have access to all those records, your point of sale system. They can tap into that. So that's one thing about being a franchisee. Yeah, you're a franchisee, but at the end of the day, the franchise, the corporation is still in somewhat control of things. You got to follow protocols and systems and things like that.
Right. Wow, man. Yeah. So the IHOP, you know, it closed in what year? It was after the housing market, right? Early 2000, no, not early 2000, 2008, 2009. Because the housing market crashed in 08. The housing market crashed in 08.
Yeah. 08. I came home in 2006, 2007. We opened in 2008. I think it was 2009 or 2010 that we had to shut it down. It was, you know, we tried for the longest to keep it open, and you know, at the end of the day, it couldn't continue. And anybody that knows what doing business on that scale is on this island, we ain't gonna talk about utilities. We ain't gonna talk about rent. Let's just leave that alone.
Leave that alone. Yeah, that's for a different show. Like I always tell people, that's for a different show. But listen, so I want the listeners to understand why we went from Graffiti Street to John graduating at 16 years old, went to Johnsville, became a single father. It's very rare that you see what men that, not saying that you don't have men that what John did in his time, in his early years, that we haven't seen young men doing it now. But I want y'all to understand the purpose of why we're talking to John Greenaway. A lot of people probably thought that, hey, let's tune in, item flavor, the food is great. Maybe John might be giving away some food. Nah, I want people I want people to understand the reason why we're having this conversation. Because I'm watching the Facebook Live right now, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs listening, tuning in, people who are also in the restaurant business tuning in. And I want y'all to pay attention because it's inspiring what this man is doing. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not. So again, we went from Graffiti Street, Johnsonville, single father. Now he decided to work for Houston's, another franchisee, housing market crash, moved back home to his hometown, New York, Virgin Islands, started working, at IHOP, another franchisee. Things didn't work out because, of course, franchisees, especially the mainland, in the Virgin Islands. I'm not only speaking for the Virgin Islands. I can't speak for St. Martin. I can't speak for Puerto Rico. I'm talking about the Virgin Islands. It's very hard to sustain a franchisee in the Virgin Islands. Why? Is because we like our local food. We like you just said, the saltfish, the bread, the chatty cakes, the spinach, and so forth was the number one seller in a high up franchisee. So that right there tell you that, listen, we like cook food. Not saying that the IHOP was a bad business or anything. It's just that's how Virgin Islands are. They will stay in a line for a pate and a Johnny cake than to stay in a line for some pancakes. That's just how it is. So anyway, we it's the truth. So now, John inspired me, never give up. I always try. Never, he's not taking it as, you know what, why my life is not working out. He's making moves. He's taking a chance. He's jumping. He's not afraid to jump. He's doing things, connecting the dots, making relationship with business, successful business owners in the Virgin Islands. All right. So now IHOP is gone. I know it's a critical time now, like, man, what's next? So let's talk about what happened after that IHOP situation.
Well, once again, Ali and Beverly Petrus, they weren't going to bring me home or give me an opportunity to come home, and then what we planned to do didn't work out and just leave me, in the rain. So they said, what are you going to do, John? And I said, well, I don't know, but they gave me a interim managerial position with the Subway franchises they had, where I managed, multiple stores and make sure they had what they had to do and so forth and so on. And then we tried again and opened up another joint venture in Market Square. It was half Subway and half Flavor, Flava, which was Subway, the franchisee, and then Flavor, meaning the local food. Because at the end of the day, they saw what happened at IHOP and, me just putting together the local special and how that, how people ran with that. And they wanted to say, okay, let's do a dual concept in the same building. They had to jump through some hoops with the Subway franchise to allow that to happen too, because once again, franchisees like to make sure they're in control in all aspects, and they didn't really, feel that great about sharing, a space with another local restaurant. But at the end of the day, one thing I got to say about Ali and Bev, when they put their mind to something, they're gonna make it happen, whether the powers that be wanted to or not. They are risk takers. They fight, they push forward, and they make a way. So I did that. We were there in the Market Square for a while. After a few years, another issue came up with the spot, the building. It's going down in terms of its maintenance, the landlord. Issues always arise. So once again, we had to shut that location down. So once again, John is in the position of, what do you do? So still having faith and being a hard worker and somebody that doesn't give up, that's not in my vocabulary. I don't know what quit is. So one of the customers that patronized Flavor in Market Square was the manager of Crown Bay Center. VK Armstrong was her name. And she loved my food. And she says, when you have a chance, come down, and I want to talk to you, I have an opportunity for you. I followed her instruction and I came down, and she says, I have a spot that's sitting here doing nothing. It has a kitchen in it already, cooler, freezer, all of that. I think you could do something with it. And I'm willing to give you an opportunity because it's not going to be forever. It's for a short period of time because we already have a upcoming lease agreement with a company out of New York that's going to take over the building and turn it into a little mini strip mall. But in the interim, I'm going to give you this spot if you're willing to rent it and do something with it in the interim. Well, that was all she wrote.
Wow.
That was the seed that was planted that created Island Flavor. Because I'm speaking to Rosetta Greenaway, and I'm like, Camille, what are you gonna call the restaurant? She said, well, you had Flavor, FLAVA, at Market Square, where you just don't put Island in front of that and call it Island Flavor. And that was it.
Wow.
Off to the races, bro. Island Flavor went through, the procedure, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs, and went down the checklist of everything you had to do to start a business. And, I was in good standing with everything else. So I was able to get that going. I didn't have any equipment here. I started out with chafing dishes, things that you do to portable chafing dishes that you do when you're doing catering. That's how I started my restaurant. On a folding 6-foot table, 2 6-foot folding tables, a table, 2 tablecloths, and chafing dishes. And I served food out of that every day until I was able to actually buy a standalone steam table or a cafeteria display system. So I crawled before I could walk, and that's how it started over there. And Ali and Beverly, once again, they donated a lot of equipment, pots and pans and things that they didn't need from Flavor or from the IHOP. One man's garbage, another man's treasure.
Yeah.
So things they were ready to throw out. I'm like, no. I'll take that. I'll take this.
Yeah.
I still have 2 speakers that were getting ready to go in the garbage from IHOP that I used down in Island Flavor that I plugged into my little, music system. Like I said, so yeah, those humble beginnings, that's how it started. And then it just mushroomed from there. That happened in 2012.
Wow. Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, listen, that right there, I'm like saying, wow, like, this everything that you went through, John, I guarantee you the average young man right now would have give up.
I got knocked out many times.
You know
I got knocked out many times.
I know you probably heard no so many times, just like me doing my show right now. We was talking about that before the show. I said, when you asked me how, you've been doing this here for a while, and I'm like, yeah, when I told you, like, yeah, that's right. Wow, that's a long time. And we was talking about the no's. Yeah. How many no's where we at right now? I said, John, I'll be honest with you, man. It had plenty of times that I was going to give this out. And it's always something, either somebody send you a message, a Secret Santa send you a donation just by them loving what you do, or even you got inspired phone call from someone saying, look, man, don't give up. You know what I'm saying? That right there is what makes you stronger, what makes you do the things that we do on an everyday basis.
I can say this. I try not to get into too much religion and what people believe and what they don't believe. Forget about belief. I'm talking about facts. I'm talking about proof. I am certain, without a shadow of a doubt, that the sacrifices and the way my parents, meaning my mother and my father, and the ones that came before them, all the way back to my ancestors, had a profound effect on the opportunities that were afforded to me coming up through my struggles. Because believe it or not, bro, those things, especially on a small island like St. Thomas, karma is not always bad. Karma can be good too. So a lot of the things that they put out into the universe has definitely come back and blessed me. And I try to always pay that forward. I mean, you think about some of what we consider successful or billionaires of our generation. You know how many times Jay-Z heard no? You know how many times nobody wanted to take his mixtape or his CD out his trunk?
Kanye West. We talk about Kanye West. He's a billionaire now. How many no's he heard? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When he started.
And for those that listening, I don't want us to ever think that monetary value is what we're talking about when we say success. Because a lot of people feel like how much money you have or your net worth is the benchmark or the scale at which you're measured for success. And I know a lot of people that are successful on every level, and they're not millionaires, they're not billionaires. You know, so it ain't just about the money. Don't get me wrong, you want to be able to pay your bills, but it's about not saying no and not laying down when you fall off the horse, you get back on it. And that in itself is success, because if you can fall off a horse and nearly break every bone in your body and get back on that horse. I was in a flight from Detroit by my brother, Clayton Greenaway, to St. Thomas. We got into such bad turbulence. The plane nearly went down.
Wow.
The plane shook to the point where alarms went off. The oxygen mask came out to the roof of the plane. Right. They tell you put it on over your face, fix it over kids and children if you have them with you first, getting the position with your head down. That was a near-death moment for me.
Wow.
I have pictures of it with the whole plane. I did a reverse, flip the camera so I can see, well, hey, if this does go down and the only thing they could find in the black box, maybe they could see what happened and recover this picture out on my phone. My family could see what happened to me. You couldn't call nobody because your phone's supposed to be off in the plane. But I say that to say, I could have, when we finally made it back and everybody was shaking and crying and there was ambulance and, rescue at the airport and fire trucks and everything when the plane finally pulled in, I could have not got back on a plane. I could have sit there and let fear consume me. But I'm not wired like that, bro.
Yeah.
I got to get back home. I got things to do. I got a son to take care of. I got bills to pay. When you have somebody else that depends on you for their life, you don't have the opportunity. You don't have the luxury to quit and lay down. Not when you have a child. At least that's how I feel.
Man, I'm so glad, John, we finally did this show, man. You just don't know how inspiring you just inspiring a lot of people just listening to.
I'm just sharing my story, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I
don't tell anybody my story. Only people that know me personally may know my story, but I don't tell nobody really my story because I'm not a guy like that goes out and broadcasts my personal, what they call personal laundry.
Right. And you're a humble guy. You're always a humble guy, very respectable in the community, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking, like I said, I told you from the beginning, I heard nothing but positive, uplifting stuff from people that I know that we both know, you know what I'm saying, that speak so much good things about you, man. And I said, you know what, we have to do this show, John. And it's so funny, it's just time, you're so busy. And I can't commend you how much thankful you taking time out because you, like I said, you could be doing
at Wings
shop. You know what I'm saying? Right now.
That's what I was supposed to be. I asked one of my employees, can you cover this shift for me? Because I was supposed to be there training 2 new guys. I said, can you please stay late, cover this shift for me? I have to do an interview on a talk show, and this has been years we've been trying to do this. I can't let this brother down. He's doing something positive, for us, and it's worldwide. You might just say the JMO talk show, and you might just think, oh, no, ain't just the Virgin Islands, ain't just the nation. I'm sure there's people all over, wherever they are, because of social media and because of technology, that are able to tune in and see or hear stories from back home and connect with what we're talking about,
No doubt. And I appreciate that, man. We got people all the way from Japan that's tuning in right now. Tony T, all the way from Japan, he's listening.
Who else do I know in Japan from home? Linford Rapsat.
Yeah, Tony T. Yeah. Tony T.
He's in Jaquil, his wife.
Yes,
she was in the restaurant to see me.
Yeah.
These are people I went to elementary with.
Yeah, they tune in every week, man. Every week faithfully, man.
Well, salute to them, man. Thank you so much, guys.
Yo, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So we're gonna talk a little bit now about, some stuff that really, really impact not just John, but all of us. And we talking about 3 years ago, Irma Maria. Irma Maria hit not just one Category 5, was two back to back that devastated the U.S. Virgin Islands. And, I'll be honest with you, that thing really shook a lot of people. I mean, people was calling me during the storm, and I could have heard the background, and I could have heard the fear in their voice. They were scared. You know what I'm saying?
Russ, that's literal. I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2", 2 and change.
Wow.
Okay, I ain't small, but let me tell you this. I love my dogs. I have American Bullies. If you don't know the breed, it's a companion dog, but it looks like a pit bull on steroids is what people say. But it's one of the most loving dogs. Ain't afraid of nothing.
Right.
I stayed in the house. Sent my son, my sister, and everybody else was gone. I stayed in the house. I'm a man. I feel that's what I'm supposed to do, make sure everything is okay. The dogs, I put them in my son's room because they usually don't be in the house. We're island people. Dogs are on the porch or whatever. I put them in there. They wouldn't come out because of the sounds it was making. I was in my room with the door locked, and I could listen to the door, and I have videos of it where it looks like somebody's on the outside of my door, on the opposite side of the door, pulling it and trying to rip the door off the hinges and off the knob. It sounded like a physical human was out there shaking the door.
Wow.
The storm took 2 glass doors that were locked with the chain and with the latch, pulled it out of the track and down the road. It took a washer and dryer off the porch, around the corner, because the porch is an L, opened up the gate, which was locked, break the lock off. This is all that the storm did. Break the lock off the gate, open up the gate, pulled with the suction and the vacuum, pulled a washer and dryer and disconnected it from the wall and pulled it around the corner and dropped it out in the yard.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I mean, if you ever experienced the strength of those kinds of winds and that kind of high pressure, low pressure, and vacuums, I have never experienced anything like that in my life. And I quite frankly don't want to again.
Wow. So you were just in your room, in your bed, or were you in the closet? Were you had the tub?
I had the mattresses over my head, trying to, I put it this way, I got up to go in the bathroom because they say go inside a tub and cover over your head and all of that. But guess what? As I tried to go in the bathroom, so much water came in from the top floor because the roof got lifted off the top floor. I was down on the second floor. So much water came in, it penetrated through the floor, and the ceiling of the bathroom fell down and was in the bathtub. So if I was in the bathtub, I would have get crushed by the ceiling that fell in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like that, bro.
I'm telling you, man. And I know a lot of stuff that's going through your mind, like what the worst could have ever happened. I've been through it all. You know what I'm saying? The economic recession. You know what I'm saying? I have fallen.
Keep on coming.
You know what I'm saying? Everything just keep coming. Now, this what the Irma Maria, I wasn't there. I saw pictures. I even still have pictures in my phone. I refuse to take them out because it's just a remembering of
you
what
need that. You need that reminder. Yeah, it's good.
So just imagine, but you was in there in the trenches. Have a business. I know you thinking about surviving, but you thinking about, Lord, I gotta start over again.
Correct.
I gotta start over again, because if my house is devastated, I could only imagine my restaurants.
Listen, when I finally was able to dig out of the house, get with neighbors and with chainsaws and cut our way to get out on the main road, when I finally got down it took me a few days to finally get down to check out the restaurant. On the drive there, it's very surreal. It's very humbling. This is beyond, let me see if my neighbor needs some sugar or some rice or some water.
Yeah.
This is
Way
beyond
beyond.
that.
Yeah.
There's no words to categorize. It might be a category 5 in terms of the numerical system that they use to categorize storms, but this is way past a 5 in the lives of most of us that experience this.
Wow.
We say, oh, that's 100. Yeah, this was on 100 because there's still blue tarps right now in the Virgin Islands, also the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
My sister made a post yesterday and she was like, I just, she's thinking about what happened and, everybody's remembering it and it still ain't fixed because no disrespect, but insurances make money based on hoping nothing major happens so they don't have to pay out. How do you really pay out to a place that has been completely decimated?
Yes. Yep.
So most of us that paid insurance for the entire life of the house that you live in did not get what you needed to repair it back to a living state. So that's why so many places are still, even with all of the FEMA and all the other different funding, there's a lot of places that are still, I heard Winston Herbert always talking about, there's still a lot of blue tarps out there.
Yeah.
When I got to Crown Bay, Russ, you know who really I felt bad for? I felt bad for Mr. Webster, Island Laundries.
Yeah. Across the street.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's been there forever.
Ever.
Okay.
Yes. We used to drive all the way down there just to get our clothes ironed. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. He's been servicing all the cruise ships, and I mean he's been around. Okay, this is a staple. This is somebody that I used to go party at his house up above. Anna's right there. Miss Webster, and we had pool parties. So we did an episode of Graffiti Street there. Tabor and Harmony is what it's called now.
Yes.
And when I saw that, and this is not somebody that's distant to me. This is a man that I know. He is the father of my best friend's wife, LaCoya Scabriel, LaCoya Webster then. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sean Scabriel, that's my best friend from high school days. You see me, you see him.
Right.
So when you see the skeletal remains, usually when something is down to a skeletal remain, it's dead. Whether it be an animal or whatever, it's dead. When you get down to the bones, the flesh, the organs, well, that's how that building was.
And that was a big building.
Remains.
And that was a big building. That was a big building.
Of course it is.
That was a big building.
That's a building that was built during the times of sub-base, why it was called sub-base. Iron you can't find no more in the world because from the area we came from. All those hangars you see down there that are still standing, those are from that sub-base area when it was a submarine base. So that wasn't no, what we call PR construction.
For sure.
That was a major building.
Yeah.
So when you see the kind of carnage, and I use carnage because you need to understand words and the connotation in which they're used. Carnage is usually used when something is just decimated and torn up and, carnage is usually when a lion done rip apart a antelope or a zebra.
Cherry open, yeah.
But that's what happened. So when I went and I saw my little water damage and walls leaning over in the kitchen and I saw what happened, I could see a little hole in the roof, I say, I can't say nothing. Because if I could look across the street to my neighbor and look at what's happened there, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those situations where you see what other people have to go through. And we always say that in our community. Oh, somebody always has it worse. Well, I tell you, there was a lot of those other people that had it worse than you.
Sure enough. And I wasn't there. But to be honest with you, my last fully hurricane was Hugo. I moved back home for 2 years, 97 to 99, and it had a little storm at pass. You know, I can't remember his name. No, it isn't Gilbert. Daniel. I can't remember, but it was a little something that passed. But it wasn't devastated like how Hugo was. I wasn't there for Marilyn. But again, you know, not being there for Irma Maria, people said it was worse than Marilyn. Marilyn was worse than Hugo. Irma Maria was worse than Marilyn.
I think it was worse than any hurricane in our time, in our existence. We're in our 40s, and since we've been born, I know it's been the worst, not just because of the strength or the category, but because of the sequence of the back-to-back. I think that's never happened in history before.
Yeah, never.
At least in our history.
Not in our time, yeah.
So that was a 1-2 punch, bro.
Yeah. So we had Irma Maria.
Yes.
Irma Maria, Island Flavor Restaurant now finally getting back to civilization.
Okay.
Not fully 100%, but we're back enough where we're serving the community. You know what I'm saying? People could come back and work. You know, we're sustaining business, we're sustaining, you know what I'm saying, our business, our legacy. 2020 comes now, and this is one of the most, I want to say, thing that I'll ever experienced in my life. To this day, I was just talking about this here at the job, John, that when all said is done, a lot of us will have to have counseling, man, for this pandemic. And this pandemic called coronavirus. Coronavirus have impact not just the Virgin Islands community, but the whole world. And we're still going through it right now.
Correct.
So now, John just talked about how Irma Maria devastated his personal home, his business, right? Place of business. He just getting back to the swing of things. You know what I'm saying? And then here come, boom, coronavirus, COVID-19. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Now you see, now I'm telling you, Facebook listeners, everybody that listening to the show right now, you see why we take it back, how we were smiling, we were reminiscing, and just, you know what I'm saying, things just start to just kind of get serious, real, and back to back, it ain't stopped. So we're here now to this day, 2021, we're still talking about the pandemic coronavirus. Tell the listeners what is life before, but not before, during the pandemic and even after the pandemic. Well, not after, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
The different stages.
Right.
It was a challenge, to say the least. I could have followed suit like many businesses did and folded or throw in the towel. But once again, that's never been my mantra. I really don't. That's not me. Number one, not only do I have a mouth to feed, so I can't afford to quit, but I have other mouths to feed in terms of there's people that depend on me as an employer to feed their families. And if I fold or quit or throw in the towel or shut down, what happens to them? It's not many, but the few that I have, I treat like family, because that's always been the kind of atmosphere I wanted in my restaurants. And I couldn't let them down. I couldn't let my community down. I've never built my business based on tourism. No disrespect to other businesses that are tourism based, but tourism is seasonal. Even though it's a major part of the Virgin Islands fabric and our economy, it's seasonal. And WAPA is not seasonal. Rent is not seasonal. None of the other major bills, insurance is not seasonal. So I can't have a seasonal based business. So I based my business off of local cuisine and the local demographic and local population. And those are the people that I have to give thanks to because they have kept me alive. Even when I was just selling waters out of a cool outside to stay alive, even when I was just having the basics in terms of what little I could afford to prepare and sell. So, I mean, that's how I've been able to survive. A no quitting attitude, employees that stood by my side. I had to put it this way. You're not making enough to continue operating the way you do. So you have to go to extreme measures of cutting costs, meaning without sacrificing quality. I've had with, and I'm not proud about this, but I have such great employees, whether they're here or they moved on, that I had to sit them down and say, listen, we have a choice to make. We're going to either have to shut down, or I need everybody to go on one base rate until we could climb out of this destruction. And they stuck by me. And even though it was a lower rate for some of them than what they were used to making, they agreed to it because they had to survive too. And they seen other businesses around them closing all day, and I'm here trying to keep us alive. And because of those sacrifices they made, because of sacrifices I made, because of sacrifices my sister Rosetta Greenaway made in terms of helping me, we were able to survive to the point where we're at today. And the hits are still coming because hair, for instance, chicken is nearly a 10-pound bag of chicken wings, which everybody loves, is nearly $50 a bag, 42 and change. Okay. If I go to a local distributor, no disrespect to them, and I buy 6 cases of chicken, 3 for Wings Gone Wild and 3 for Island Flavor, that's over $1,000. I ain't buying nothing else yet.
No sugar for the Johnny cakes.
Nothing else yet. And you need more than just chicken. No rice, no nothing, no seasonings, no nothing. Is a reason why franchisees like Wing Zone is now not just Wing Zone, they're Wing Zone / Thigh Zone. Because you just can't afford certain parts of the chicken anymore.
Wow.
So you got to make some drastic moves to be able to stay alive during a situation like this. I mean, whereas you can only allow a certain amount of people in your restaurant at a certain time, and I mean, so that quells or calms down the amount of people in terms of distancing and so forth. And I have to take my hat off to the Virgin Islands government, Department of Health, and the governor, because I personally not feel, but I think it's factual because you could see the numbers, you could see the proof. Because of the steps that they've taken and the things that they've done, I think the Virgin Islands is at a better place than many other places or islands in the Caribbean. And that is because of a collective effort of all of the agencies and all the people doing what they have to do and adhering to the certain rules and so forth and so on. We're still surviving. we just had 2 cruise ships in Crown Bay. Was it Thursday? Was it yesterday? Yeah. I mean, 2, we had Allure of the Seas. These are huge ships. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not filled to capacity, but just the fact that they're there.
And they come to support your picture and your business, yeah.
Yeah. And most of the tourists are not coming in, but it doesn't affect me to the point where I'm like, oh, because like I said, I am a local based business. If the tourists come, fine, but that's not how I stay alive. I stay alive because I cater to the locals. If the tourists want to come taste local food, fine. But that's not the how my business is sustained. But that's just a sign that even though those ships are not filled to capacity, it's a domino effect, because even though they might not come into the restaurant, they might come into one of the other stores in Crown Bay. They're gonna get on a taxi and support that taxi man with a fare, that's going to take them on a tour, and even though they might come back and go right in the ship, that tax man might come in later and say, hey, listen, I ain't eat all day. I've been gone. I couldn't wait to get a plate of food. So, you know, it's all intertwined, you know?
Right. Wow, man. It just hearing your story, John, I just hope that an entrepreneur that is listening to us right now, which we have a bunch of them right now, and even if they're not listening to it real time, that they'll go back and listen to the show. I hope that they listen to it entirely to see that one thing that you was consistent about from start to right now, you never give up. You never give up. You never give up. You never give up.
You can't.
And that's inspiring to me. Me as a person that trying to get into the media, news, entertainment business. I'm starting 7 years, still have a lot where to go, but many times, like I said, things don't work out or they ain't go my way. I'm like, man, am I wasting my time? What am I doing? And to hear your story, and I'm like, man, I'm not even near to what you've been through. All it takes is just for the right people to listen to what I'm doing. But you went through it all. You've been through the trenches. You've been where that plenty of people want to go back working like punching a clock. And you say, you know what? Nah.
That's safer. Punching a clock is safer than what I did or what you're doing. Punching a clock is much safer.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
I've gone years without being able to pay myself, Russ, because you just can't afford to do it. When I asked my employees to take a pay cut, I wasn't getting paid. I couldn't get paid. You can't do that. You have to leave yourself out of that equation. And put it this way. You might say, I may be inspiring a lot of entrepreneurs. What I'm hoping to inspire is people that are not entrepreneurs, but have the ability, have a niche that they could fill, have a passion for something, and they can do it. Turn whatever your passion is into a business, and you will not have to work a day in your life. When you say what you just said to me, Russ, that inspires me, and it takes me back to a picture and a quote. There's a picture that shows the silhouette of a slave ship. And I don't want anybody to ever think that we all come from slaves, because slavery was just an interruption of some of our ancestors' history. We did a lot more prior to slavery, okay? Or being enslaved, rather. There's a picture of the entire shell of a slave ship, and it shows how the humans were stacked. Our ancestors were stacked on top of each other. So we talking piss, feces, period, vomit, blood. I mean, everything that you could think of on you, dead bodies, you know, rotting.
The smell. I mean,
and you think about that not being fed, being ripped away from your homeland, and you think about all the things that they endured, rape, everything else, that window of time on that ship. Okay, some of them even jumping, saying that they rather die than, you know, knowing that, or being in bondage, regardless of what position, because those that made the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, and jumped, or those that carried on, those are some of our ancestors. So you can't look and judge any of them, regardless of how they deal with it. But my point is, we have no right. Forgive me, that's just how I'm thinking. I ain't telling nobody how to think. But how dare us think that we have the right to quit when that kind of sacrifice was made for us by our ancestors? How dare you quit? Quit.
Not an option.
Come on.
Not an option.
Come on, bro.
Not an option.
There's no way you can look at that and quit.
Not an option. Yeah. And I hope people are paying attention, man, that what John is saying, that whatever you do it and make the best of it. Do it with the best of your ability, but don't ever quit.
You all have
ever
gifts. We all have gifts.
Yeah.
Find it, find your purpose, and make it happen.
Mhm. And John, I mean, man, I just want to thank you again for it's a reason why that I was as insist that we do this show. And I know you're a busy guy. And again, I want to thank you so much for making this possible. But you had a story to tell. And your story was, again, inspiration. You know what I'm saying? For somebody out there that had doubts or, that feel like quitting, but they're listening to this show right now, I guarantee you that's going to make them a different person come tomorrow. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that, bro. I thank you for that, bro.
Because at the end of the day, all those struggles have mushroomed into Island Flavor, which has mushroomed into Wings Gone Wild, which was another opportunity afforded to me by Ali Petrus. He had a dream of building a building. He built a building. He said, John, okay, this is the rent, this is that, but this is your spot. It was 4 walls. I started building that out of my pocket. You make $10, you put $2 aside, and it took me 2 years to fully build out Wings Gone Wild to what it is now. It started in 2015, it was finished and we opened up in May of 2017. Okay, didn't do any loans, didn't do none of that. I just take my time and you buy a few tiles here, you buy a little bit of paint. You're a homeowner, you know how this is.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And it took me 2 years, and everybody threw in that 2 years. When you gonna open? When you gonna open? Please be patient, because who feels it knows it. And was able to open that in 2017. Shortly after, a few months, then you had the hurricanes. So imagine that, spending all that time and money into opening up your first new concept that you've dreamt about since Rhode Island. And there's a place called Wings to Go on Thayer Street in Rhode Island that everybody used to go to after the parties. And I was like, you know what? One day I'm gonna open up one of these in the Virgin Islands. And I was able to get that opportunity because of people like Ali and Beverly Petrus once again. And hurricanes came right after. But they built a very strong building, and we sustained damage, but not like some of the other buildings. And eventually we were able to, get back open. But I say that to say Wings created opportunity. Island Flavor created opportunity for Wings Gone Wild. And because of that now, I've been able to collaborate with somebody that's been a driving force in my culinary life and my personal life, is my Aunt Esther. My mother passed in 2005. She's always been there for us and kind of took up the mantle. And I am doing a collaborative effort with her. She's the main actress. I'm just a supporting cast. But we're opening shortly a new state-of-the-art food service concession. I ain't gonna even call it a food truck, because in my mind, what it took for us to get here and the quality of the build, it's a state-of-the-art food service concession is what it is. And that's going to be in the Crown Bay area also. It's a 20-foot mobile concession, 2 TVs,
Wow.
air conditioning.
So wait. You going in, the people going inside the truck?
No. They have windows. You're gonna come up to the windows. But what I'm saying is that it's from what's built on the inside is nothing less than a 5-star kitchen where you could come up to the window and look at, the equipment inside and how great it looks.
Gotcha. With the display,
exactly.
TV display. Gotcha.
So people eat with their eyes before the food ever touches their mouth. So presentation is key, and I learned all of those stuff from the people that have put me in these positions. So with my Aunt Esther, you're gonna see a lot more about her. Hopefully we could have her on your show again soon. But
no doubt.
It's gonna be Aunt Esther's Super Bowl. We have a play on the word Super Bowl, but we know soup is a huge part of our community and our culture. And we're gonna have Super Bowl, which is the name of the business, with our line of local handmade artisan soups. You don't have to go
soup,
water.
pea soup, callaloo.
Seafood callaloo, chicken soup, kang soup.
Oh man.
Seafood chowder.
Man.
The seafood chowder
Man.
that everybody loves at Island Flavor is what we're gonna feature. Another local don't quit entrepreneur that coined the name for my seafood chowder is Emeka Willis of Tropical Bliss Spa. She has locations in Georgia and here and opening up one in Crown Bay also. So she ate it and she said, John, is everything in here but the kitchen sink. After I eat this, I'm gonna have to go down with the Titanic, and that's what gave it the name, the Titanic Seafood Chowder. So, you know, shout out to Emeka Willis. She's another hustler. Yeah, so Super Bowl, and then we have Rock City Rotisserie. Rotisserie is my version of, say, Boston Market or any rotisserie-based business that left a mark on me, but my style, my seasonings, my side orders, you know, more of our cultural spin on a rotisserie-based business. So both of those businesses side by side.
So what are some of the sides on the rotisserie side? A rotisserie chicken?
Well, we're gonna have a provision package. I don't know if that's what we're gonna call it, but we eat a lot of root vegetables in our culture. And while the chickens are on the spit rotating, all the natural juices are dripping down into a tray where we're gonna have different types of potatoes, ground provisions. You know, we have our yam, we have our tanya, we have our dashin, things like that, you know, that are gonna be roasted. So you can get, instead of just a roasted potato, you could get a roasted provision side. We'll have our macaroni and cheese and rice, because you gotta have rice in the Caribbean, and a few other sides, but nothing crazy, but just something where you can have a really great meal, because the way things are now, it's less expensive for me to serve a whole chicken than to serve a few wings.
So the location, you say it's going to be down at Crown Bay with your location. Would you, are y'all planning to have one at another setup in the east side, or probably somewhere closer downtown Chantamale?
Yeah, that is something we're looking to in the future. Many of our customers have been asking for us to do something in the country, and hopefully within the near future, we can expand like that. But for now, it's going to be down here in Crown Bay, because Crown Bay is my home. Crown Bay, the powers that be have given me great opportunities to survive in Crown Bay and really work with me. Miss Deborah Washington, she's the head of Crown Bay Center, and also the head of Port Authority in general, Mr. Dow, has been great with trying to support us and afford us opportunities to grow and to expand and to be a part of something great, which is what's happening in Crown Bay right now.
Most definitely. Man, John, much love, much success, much all the best in all the future endeavors that you have in coming. Shout out to your aunt for starting her business, man. Looking forward. I love me some homemade soup, yo. I love me some homemade soup, man. Trust me, I love me some homemade soup.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, soup can sustain you, bro. That's one thing we've learned in the Caribbean. Soup can sustain you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This was my way of making sure that somebody who's like a mother figure to me has this. This is a retirement package, because she's retired from the local government Department of Education. She taught at Eudora Ken and so forth. But we know the state of the economy.
What's her name?
Miss Isaac.
Miss
Isaac. She taught at Eudora Ken, probably after you were gone.
Okay.
Yeah, after you were gone. Okay. But
I probably got to see her face.
Yeah, but and you will see her face. But we know what the economy is going. We know how things are with GERS. And I wanted to make sure that she had something concrete, and this is what we came up with, and that's what this is for her.
No doubt. And congratulations to you, John, and for setting the way, paving the way for your aunt, man. I mean, you're doing a tremendous job. Just giving back, man. Tell us some other people that also inspire you, or you want to give shout out to in a community that really made a good impact in your life, in your business, in ventures as well? I know you said the Petras, Ali Petras and Beverly Petras. Anybody else you'd like to give a shout out to?
Definitely. There was somebody, and I wouldn't say it was because she actually passed away recently, but there was a lady that started with me from the inception of Island Flavor. Her name was Chafita Brown. And when I say that this lady was like my mother, without my physical mother, my birth mother being there, that's how this lady was. This lady would treat my business as if it was hers. She looked out for it whether I was there or not. She allowed me to be able to travel, you know, and held things down. She gave me advice. I mean, I can't say enough about her. And to lose her recently was a huge loss. But, you know, I'm still in contact with, you know, her kids and her husband, who, you know, she survived by. And Chafita Brown, I owe it all to you. And no disrespect to other people that have been there for me. When I say I owe it all, not saying that other people haven't helped me, but when I say all, I wouldn't give her specifics or partial portions. I would give the same way she gave me her all, I'm going to give her my all. And I want to give that, you know, congratulations and gratefulness to Chafita Brown. I love you. I love your family because, you know, you are my family, so they are my family. Alicia Brown, Paula Brown, you know, all her, you know, her sons. I mean, it was just, you know, Colin, great people. I can't say more than enough, you know, my, you know, extended family. Once again, my father, Clayton Greenaway Sr., my sister, Rosetta Carmelita Greenaway. I definitely couldn't do it without her. You know, she helped me a lot, especially throughout my rough times at Island Flavor, ups and downs, helping me keep the business alive. It wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for her. So I got to give her a special shout out, helping me to establish a lot of the protocols and programs and set up the administrative, you know, office side. You know, my sister, Rosetta Carmelita Greenaway, she's awesome. Iditha Selkridge. When I speak about they don't make them like her anymore, that's what I'm talking about. Iditha Selkridge, that woman, man.
That's my classmate, man.
Yeah, I mean, the way the world going, you don't know what they're gonna approve next. But if they approve cloning, I gonna buy a few of those. Yeah,
that's my classmate. That's my ride or die, man. That's my girl, man. In Atlanta, that's my girl.
She pushes me.
Yeah.
She inspires me. She supports me. She's awesome. I wish I have a list that I could go down, but I know we don't have all night with that. Other people that I love their grind and their hustle. Fatima Brooks, Miss Honeybee Cuisine. That young lady, drive. When I say drive, I mean drive. Just
the food is good. The food is good.
Yeah. She's a hustler. She's a hustler. You know, she's a hustler, and I respect that. I'm in no position. I don't want to be in a position to judge anybody, but like I said before, somebody always has it worse than you. You know, and you got to make it happen. You have life. Make something happen, work. Even if it's not what you want to do, do the best.
Do it. Yeah. Try it.
Ever as you can do with it. Do the best ever.
I think a lot of our millenniums, kids of today, they're afraid to fail. And I always tell my two boys, like, yo, don't be afraid to fail. I failed many times. I've heard no many times. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to fail. Just continue.
But that's the only way you're gonna know what success is.
Yeah, continue
it's
doing
by failure.
Yeah, don't. I said you like to bet. I said if you bet and you lost, right? I said you be upset for a little bit, but you back again. You know what I'm saying? Trying to win back that money. Have that kind of mindset in life. Like don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to lose. You know what I'm saying? That makes you stronger.
And you won't be successful every time. When you go in the gym, when you're lifting weights, I remember this from powerlifting and weightlifting with Mr. Massey at Charlotte Mali High School. Not only did we have that, class, but he taught about the body and how the fibers work and muscles and what they're made up of and how they, if you go on a bench to bench press something and you go and lift in the same weight every day, you're not going to build or really gain any muscle. You may be lean, you may be cut, but if you're thinking about building and becoming stronger, the only way you're going to get that is by putting heavier weight on that bar, putting more plates on that bar. And you're not going to be able to lift it right away. And what happens is when you try to lift that weight, your muscles tear. Okay, and when your muscles tear, that's why sleep and rest is important. And you're in pain and you're sore, those muscles are trying to heal. Okay, and when it's healing, more muscle and more fibers are building over it. Therefore, that's how the muscles being built, because the scar tissue and everything, without getting to, the only way you're going to become stronger is by lifting more weight. So the only way we get stronger is based on the trials that we go through. And lifting ourselves out of that weight, whether it be the weight of Irma or Maria, whether it be the weight of a divorce or failed relationship, whether it be the weight of having a kid, whether it be the weight of losing a parent, whether it be the weight of losing a job or losing your business, there's so many different weights that we endure in this thing called life. You gotta lift, you gotta stand back up.
Yes, sir.
You gotta stand back up. That's the only way you can be stronger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. John, man, hey, man, I'm so glad. This show was well needed. It came at the right time. Island Flavor chef, restaurateur, entrepreneur, business owner John Greenaway is here with me on the JMO Talk Show, virtual guest tonight. John, would you like to give out your information to all the listeners or anyone that is planning to come back home and would like to support Island Flavor, your time, your days when you're open, also your social media information, or if they'd like to contact you for any weddings, business, relationship, you want to give out your contact information?
Yeah, well, we have Island Flavor Restaurant. All of our pages are on Facebook. So Island Flavor Restaurant, if you go to our page, which is the logo you see in the background, Island Flavor Restaurant, that's in Crown Bay Center. We're on Facebook. If you like the page, every day you will get daily updates on our menu. We change our menu every day based on what I can procure from my purveyors is what I decide that morning or what we cook, so we keep it fresh. The number is 340-714-5588. That's 340-714-5588. That's Island Flavor Restaurant, the best venue with the best menu in Crown Bay Center. Then we also have Chef John's Wings Gone Wild and Carrot Burger. Wings Gone Wild is just exactly what it sounds. We have wings, bone-in and boneless wings, 15 plus different sauces. We have mild, wild, suicide. We have General Soul. We have sweet chili. We have 24 karat gold. We have mango tango. We have so many different sauces. And not only do we do wings, but we do cheesesteaks, Philly cheesesteaks, chicken cheesesteaks. We have 3 different chicken sandwiches. We have donuts. We have blueberry donuts. We have apple cider donuts, red velvet donuts. We have milkshakes. We have an awesome 7C sandwich, which for seafood lovers. I cut every day when I cut salmon or whatever fish I cut for Island Flavor, I cut portions for wings. So you're getting a fresh cut. You're not getting some frozen piece of fish. You get a fresh piece of fish grilled to order.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm a lover of onions. So at any of my establishments, you get onions if you want, and you get it for free. I ain't charge you anymore, but I love onions. I love garlic, and that stuff is good for you. So I had to make sure it's in my food. Fresh seasoning, herbs, time. My father grows it in his garden. He brings it from me all the time, so forth and so on. A lot of local farmers that do stuff. I bring in seasoned peppers from Dominica. I talking a banana box, 50, 40 pounds flown in from Dominica. That makes a difference in the food. So it's not just throwing stuff together. We take time and we have love and passion in what we do.
Right.
We hand make every burger every day, never a frozen burger, fresh ground beef. We hand make each patty, they weigh it on a scale. And yeah, that's how we do, our burgers and everything else. So that's why it's called Wings Gone Wild and Carrot Burger. So that's 340-779-9464. That's 340-779-9464. Those are the numbers, and that's in Petros Plaza, which is right across from the Seaplane Shuttle on Waterfront. Petros Plaza is right there. It's one of the most beautiful buildings on the waterfront in that area. Sbarro is there, and the gas station, Petros Gas. You'll find them in Smith Bay. You'll find them at Barbell Plaza. You'll find them there for the Petros family that's there. Other business. Take my hat off to them every time. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for them. But you know what I would like to say before or ask before I go? What was one of the complaints, or what would be considered complaints, or things that the teachers would say, on the report card, Russell, you say, well, okay, the student, got an 80 something or 90 something, but he does too much of this or he does too much of that. What was one of the complaints that was written or told to your parents about you when you were going to school?
I talk too much.
Okay.
I talkative. That was at every report card. Talkative.
Okay. And my point is this: you took something that the average teacher or adult around our time would look at as a negative, and you turned that into a platform that you've had for 6-7 years now. You were ahead the curve when it came on to using social media and videography and so forth to promote a business that you've been told no so much. So you might be giving kudos to me, but I'm giving kudos to you for taking something that was labeled as a negative and turning it into a viable, worldwide, across the board platform that people look forward to listening to or to seeing. You connect so many Virgin Islanders far and near. So brother, I take my hat off to you. Awesome job, man.
Thank you,
awesome job.
Man, that means a lot, bro. That means a lot, man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Don't let anybody tell anybody.
Those type of comments is what makes me be here today. So whenever I have any doubts about, should I? Those are the things that drive me and continue for me to keep doing it, man. I'll be honest with you, man. And you're right. Ain't always monetary drive. It's just the passion. The connecting, like you said, connecting people from near and far and just building a platform. You know what I'm saying? And that means a lot to me, bro. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
John. Thank you. That's the little things. I'm telling y'all, little things. Well, John, man, thank you, man. I truly appreciate you for making time. So I saw Edita say she's coming to see you tomorrow. So are you open tomorrow?
No, we're closed Saturday and Sundays unless we announce that we're having a Super Seafood Saturday. And I think the next time we do a Super Seafood Saturday this month will be the 25th.
Okay. So Edita, he's not going to be there tomorrow. So you probably might have to hit him up. I don't want you to come.
She know that when she at Island, whether I'm open or not, if I have something that she needs or wants, I gonna make sure she gets it.
Okay, that's what
she have that kind of power.
That's what I'm talking about, Edita. Classmate, you're one of a kind, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for making this possible as well, man. Edita was like, listen, classmate, I want you to listen. She was determined. I said, let's make it happen. I know John have a busy schedule, but let's make it happen. So thank you, man. Thank you, Edita. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, man. John, all the best, my brother, man. And whenever your aunt is ready, whenever she got everything settled in and so forth, you hit me up. Let me know, hey, auntie is ready. Let's start promoting her business because, trust me, if it's Carnival next year, I hope she ready because people, I love me some soup. I love me. I'm dead serious. I love me some soup. I'm like, oh my God.
Put it this
I
way.
love me some soup, bro.
Put it this way. The national dish of Montserrat, British West Indies, is goat water. Okay, just like how Jamaica has ackee and saltfish, and we have goat water. That both of my parents are from Montserrat. Okay, when you taste my aunt goat water, you're gonna understand why. That's all I got to say.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Lord, that's my tongue started to drip now. John, man, all the best, man. Thank you, man. Keep inspiring me, brother, man. And I really appreciate you, man. This was well needed. This show was well needed. This show was well needed. This show was well needed. I thank you, man. Thank you.
I
man,
thank you.
Make me feel good. Make me feel good, yo. Thank you.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. All the best, man. We catch up. We talk to you soon, okay?
All right, bro. Have a good night.
Love, all the time.
Much respect.
All right, for sure. All right, so that was John Greenaway. That was Mr. Island Flavor himself. John Greenaway, man. He's doing big things in the Virgin Islands, man. Shout out to John. Awesome, bro. We actually grew up together. His mom was my fourth grade teacher, so they used to come to the class all the time, wait for his mom to go home. His sister Rosetta, I remember she was in a younger grade than me. So, you know, seeing John, interacting with John, then we started the graffiti street together. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, this is like love, man. This was well needed. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. I see you. Thank you for tuning in. Imani, thank you for tuning in. Charmaine, Clendenin Hanley, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Shana White, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Ruti, thank you for tuning in. Tony T, all the way from Japan. Thank you, cuz, for appreciate you, man. Hector Rosario, pick up yourself. I appreciate you, man. Philip Wade, my cuz, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in, man. Football season start now. Sean Pooey, Scott Lip, thank you for tuning in. Dwayne Otley, thank you for tuning in. Shelly HC, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Who else we got? We have Cheryl Williams. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. We have my boy, Wang Louis Virgil. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, James Bushelter. Thank you for tuning in. My cousin, all the way from the DMV, Shonda Gottlieb. Thank you for tuning in. Who else we got? We have Shatik. Hey, don't forget next week, Friday on the JMO Talk Show, I have my classmate, Shatik Stevens. She just wrote a book, a children's book. She's going to be on the JMO Talk Show promoting her book next week, Friday. So make sure y'all tune in. Class of 1993, Ivan A. Belican. We're in the building. Make sure y'all share the live. Tell a friend. Next week, we have our classmate, Shatik Stevens, on the JMO Talk Show. All right, with yours truly. Jerome Samuel, my nephew, thank you for tuning in. Shout out to my niece, Latoya Samuel. Happy birthday to you. Hope all is well. Linda PQ, thank you for tuning in. Cora Melissa Thomas, thank you for tuning in. Darrell Matthews, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Michelle Parks, thank you for tuning in. Jay Parsons, thank you for tuning in. Ifet Rapset, hey, classmate, thank you for tuning in. My brother, bro, Oriel, big up yourself. Thank you for tuning in. And last but not least, Tiffany Chichester, my beloved second half, my half. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, man. All right, that's our show for tonight. Don't forget, make sure you're in the building next week, Saturday. It's all about the Yemen Radio 8-year anniversary customer appreciation all-white party. Make sure you go on eventbrite.com and get your tickets, man. We have a great show in store for y'all. We have some appreciation awards we'd like to give out before the party started. We're going to have a J Unit band all the way from Houston. We're going to be performing live. We have Manalise, we have Star Martin, we have King Lion, we have Boogaloo, and we have Chemist. Big up yourself, man. Make sure y'all in the building. Big up to Captain Ren and Deborah Gums for making this possible, man. Again, yours truly, Russ Sills and DJ Dutchy. We're going to be the host of the night. If you got your tickets, you're in like Flint. If you haven't bought your tickets, go out and get your tickets now. I think tickets are $15, $20 in that range. I was told that will be drinks and I think food will be on sale. It's going to be at a club in Grayson, Georgia. So I think food and drinks are going to be on sale. But any event, come on out, support YMN Radio. We're doing it big again, man. The all-white party next week, Saturday. Go and get your tickets now, man. Support Captain Rand. Yours truly, Russell. We're doing it big next week, Saturday. All right? Cool, man. That's it for tonight. Shout out to all my NFLers. Super Bowl, well, not Super Bowl, football, Sunday football is here. The Tampa Bay Bucks defeated the Dallas Cowboys last night. So again, college football starts tomorrow. And of course, the NFL is on this Sunday. Last but not least, before we go, it's 9:49. I have a big announcement on the JMO Talk Show next week, Friday. Can't tell you all now, but it's going to be a big announcement. So make sure y'all tune in next week, Friday. Again, my virtual guest, going to be Shatik Stevens, my classmate, class of 1993. She just wrote a book, children's book, so she's going to be on the JMO Talk Show next week, Friday. And again, yours truly, Russell's. I have a big announcement I'm going to share with y'all next week, Friday. All right? It's 9:50, 10 minutes on top of the hour. I would like to thank John Greenaway, founder, chef, entrepreneur of Island Flavor, Wings Gone Wild. This brother been doing tremendous job in the Virgin Islands, especially St. Thomas. Shout out to John, man, and all the best to he and his businesses. Doing a tremendous job and giving back, man. Can't thank this brother enough for taking his time out to make this show possible tonight. All right. Love y'all, man. I'm going to read some of y'all comments. Make sure y'all go on YouTube and subscribe to the JMO Talk Show YouTube page. We're going to be posting, uploading a lot of these shows that from August and this month, September. So make sure y'all support the JMO Talk Show YouTube page. Just subscribe. Go on there, subscribe, JMO Talk Show page. We appreciate all your support. All right? Check me out next week, Friday. Big announcement, man. It's going to be great. God is good. That's all I got to say. God is good. Love y'all, man. Y'all be safe. Make sure you wear your mask, hand sanitize, practice social distancing, and make sure, man, if you're not going to take the vaccine, just be careful out there. All right? That's all I got to say. Love y'all. Peace and hair grease, one love.